I'm much better now that the ladies are back from space.
What were they up there, 10 minutes?
Look at us, we're very wealthy. Don't we look great? Admire us.
It was very profound. I don't know if you've seen Katy Perry talk about it, but she's basically a guru now.
Yeah. What were her findings? That's my question.
Well,
what did she learn?
Daisy, which is super important. It shows you how quick the flight was. The dead daisy that's like snipped from its life source.
In a spectacle that has drawn both awe and ridicule, pop icon Katy Perry and other celebrities, including Gayle King and Lauren Sanchez, participated in an all-female Blue Origin spaceflight that has since been widely criticized as a performative and tone-deaf display of privilege. Social media exploded as comedian Joe Rogan and others mocked what they called a glorified roller coaster ride, noting the brief 11-minute duration and the lack of scientific contribution. Footage of Perry dramatically kissing the ground upon landing was cited as a prime example of the trip's self-indulgent narrative.
I missed serious gold in the Blue Origin story that my team has redirected me to, and now I will bring you guys there as well. Take a listen to the female commentators,
sparking debates over whether such voyages should be labeled space travel or mere tourism. Critics argued that this attempt at a feminist milestone came off as cringeworthy rather than inspirational, especially given the overtly emotional and staged behavior seen in post-flight interviews and photo ops. The media portrayal of the mission added fuel to the backlash. Oprah Winfrey reportedly wept while watching the launch, and many commentators described the entire event as belittling to real female astronauts who have undergone rigorous training and risked their lives for scientific progress. Joe Rogan sarcastically noted that being trapped in space while Katy Perry sang would be reason enough to give up hope.
Did you see those girls land today? Katy Perry, Lauren Sanchez. People were mad they wouldn't let the ladies drive. Look at that. Oh, that's them in the middle of the desert? Very soft landing from space, and the only thing we got to land you is a parachute.
The commentary emphasized how this brief commercial trip, heavily promoted as a momentous female achievement, contrasted starkly with the decades-long legacy of actual female astronauts. The general sentiment was that the celebration was misplaced and exaggerated, with public discourse asking why such privilege-driven excursions were being hailed as feminist victories. Adding to the controversy, many within the entertainment industry itself voiced their disapproval. Olivia Wilde reposted the video of Perry kissing the ground with mockery, while Amy Schumer jokingly claimed she had been added to the crew last minute, poking fun at the theatrical nature of the trip. Even Martha Stewart joined in with a subtle troll, sharing an old clip of her own zero-gravity experience paired with Katy Perry lyrics. This intra-celebrity criticism, rare in Hollywood circles.
This rocket feels like it is alive. It feels like it is a living, breathing, hissing thing, right?
And there's the gantry pulling back.
And this right here is the moment that they've been training for.
Highlighted how disconnected the event was from public sentiment. As noted by commentators, the mission seemed less about space exploration and more about optics, influence, and promoting individual brands. Gayle King's response to the criticism further stirred the pot. In a defensive social media tirade, she insisted that the flight was not a ride, but a journey, accusing critics of sexism and misunderstanding the mission's inspirational value. Her insistence that the trip was deeply meaningful and her refusal to allow others to minimize it only amplified the skepticism. Footage showed King holding a flower, professing her love for Earth and her daughter, and even joking about now having the courage to get her ears pierced.
Got it? 1, 2, 3, take up space!
Tamir's in space.
It's okay. Quinn, behind you.
Reporters noted the excessive self-focus and the attempt to translate a brief, luxury experience into a profound feminist statement. The mission, critics say, was wrapped in layers of narcissism masked as empowerment. The language used by the celebrities post-flight also came under scrutiny, with many observers questioning the sincerity of statements made during and after the trip. Lauren Sanchez spoke about the quiet and alive nature of space, while other participants declared they were forever changed. Their emotional expressions, framed as profound reflections, were seen by many as disingenuous and tone-deaf.
They go up there and they float for like 10 minutes.
At least.
And then they come down.
Let's not minimize this.
No,
Let's hear Katy Perry talk about it.
Right.
Now you are officially an astronaut.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel?
I feel super connected to love.
Particularly against the backdrop of everyday economic struggles faced by millions. The stark contrast between their billionaire-funded experience and the reality of most people's lives sparked frustration, with many wondering how a 10-minute flight could be equated to breaking real boundaries for women. Critics also questioned the qualifications of the so-called astronauts, pointing out that the entire flight was remotely piloted and required no real skill from the passengers. The idea that such a trip would inspire young girls was seen as absurd, with many asserting that without connections to Jeff Bezos.
Okay. No one's going to convince me that those rockets are not phallic. I think we're all just part of some weird Jeff Bezos sexual fantasy right now. I really do. There's something happening there. I don't wish to participate.
None of these women would have been selected. The narrative that this mission opened doors for future generations of women was labeled as pure PR spin, with comparisons drawn to amusement park rides rather than legitimate aerospace accomplishments. Commentators asked whether being rich and famous is now the primary qualification for being considered an astronaut. Public reaction online ranged from satire to scathing critiques. Social media users coined terms like space tourists and ego-nauts, pointing out the performative nature of the mission. Memes flooded platforms, mocking the idea that this trip had any lasting impact on science or gender equality. The general consensus was that the voyage did more to promote the passengers' personal brands than to inspire genuine progress.
Katie!
The defensiveness displayed by the participants, including lectures to the public about respecting their journey, only further alienated audiences who felt the mission was out of touch. There were also broader concerns about how this reflects on the future of space travel. As billionaires and their celebrity friends turn space into a playground for luxury excursions, questions arise about the direction of human exploration. What was once a realm of scientists, engineers, and adventurers is now seemingly open only to those with the financial clout or fame to buy a seat. This shift, many fear, undermines the integrity of space programs and dilutes the significance of spaceflight as a scientific frontier. The mission's attempt to position itself as a milestone in gender equality was viewed by critics as not only misguided, but actively harmful to the legacy of real astronauts.
Walter's just got his finger on his face in true distress.
I mean, just a few weeks ago, actual astronauts who got stranded in space for months.
Furthermore, the highly curated nature of the mission was criticized for its lack of inclusivity. Commentators humorously suggested that the crew should have been selected via a public lottery, drawing everyday people from all walks of life, rather than hand-picking elite friends. The trip, framed as an act of social progress, came across instead as an exclusive club event with no meaningful outreach. The lack of diversity and the overt marketing efforts were cited as clear indicators that the mission prioritized optics over substance. The idea that the experience was being sold as universally empowering was ridiculed as both dishonest and patronizing.
It's funny to hear the richest guy in the world's wife go, "We're all in it together."
We're all in this together.
It feels like you hand-selected a couple of friends to go do this.
Finally, the overarching message that these women made history was harshly dismantled. As reporters and critics noted, the accomplishment of Blue Origin was technological, not personal. The passengers contributed little to the actual success of the mission, and the attempt to elevate their presence into a feminist landmark was viewed as misleading. The media circus around the event, filled with self-praise and emotional monologues, left many feeling that the mission was an exercise in vanity rather than vision. While the participants hoped to inspire, the overwhelming reaction suggested they had instead trivialized a legacy of space exploration that deserves far more than a 10-minute Instagrammable joyride.